Today, we're going to be talking about 3 easy ways to write cool rock songs quickly. So, if you like rock or rock based styles, you like songwriting, and you want to know how can I write cooler songs? How can I, write them faster? What are some songwriting tips that I could use that isn't the same old stuff that I do already? Okay, you're going to learn some really cool stuff here. And I brought in a very special guest, very long term, a great friend of mine, and songwriting coach, Jeff Wiggins. Hey, Jeff, how's it going, buddy?
Great. Thanks for
Awesome.
having me.
Great to have you. I'm excited for this. So, Jeff, as a lot of these people, and maybe you and I also in the past, sometimes struggle with writing songs or get stuck on ideas, not sure how to develop ideas or come up with them in the first place or put them together or all these different songwriting challenges that is so typical that we musicians have. And I wanted to ask you for maybe 3 easy ways that people can learn to write cool rock songs quickly. So you got 3 for us, Jeff?
I'm going to try.
All right. Well, you got them or you don't, right?
Now I got some ideas.
All right. Awesome. All right. Just making sure. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, but before we start, for everyone watching us live, let us know who you are and where you're from. Who you are and where you're from. And also, as we go through this today, if you have questions about anything that we talk about, you can ask questions all throughout the live stream and we will answer them live a little bit later on. Just all we ask is that you keep your questions on topic and not about like, hey, can you help me with my alternate picking? Okay, we're not talking about picking today. So songwriting related questions, ask away, and we'll get to as many of those questions as we can. So that said, Jeff, what do you got for us today, buddy?
All right. So, first thing that we could focus on is let's just simplify things quite a bit and use a very popular chord called the power chord. And I'm sure just about everybody watching this knows a power chord. And what we can do is just focus on getting sounds from the different movements between the power chord. So we're not necessarily worrying about a key or should this be major or should this be minor, because a power chord has just 2 notes, the root note and the fifth. So it does not have that third in there. It's not major or minor. And you can really, with this, you can really hear the movements between the chords even more and start to find some of those movements on the neck of the guitar that you dig, right? So if I wanted to say that this was my 1, this A here, and I wanted to get a very dark movement, I could add that flatted fifth in there and have a very nice, well, maybe not so nice, dark movement here. Right? Maybe we want to add one more chord. Sounds very cool going from that flat 4 or flat 5 to that perfect 4th, which is right underneath it, and then back to that 1. Okay, now if you're not familiar with where is the flat 5, where is the 5th, any of this stuff, that's fine. You can just use your ear to find movements that you like. Don't worry about the intervals or the key or anything like that. But remember, we want this to be easy. We want you to be able to just use your ear and your intuition and search for the sounds that you like. But there is a easy thing if you can remember a pattern such as this. All I'm doing is from this is 1. We're going to call this 5th fret. 1, that A, and we're going a whole step up from there and a whole step up from there. And then on the very next string, the same thing, same frets, right? Whole step, whole step. And right here, we got all the major and perfect intervals. We got the 1, the 2, the major 2, the major third, 4, 5, and 6. As long as you can just remember that pattern, you know where all of your major and perfect intervals are. And then, of course, a whole step up from the 6 is a major 7. And if I went one more from there, it'd be back to the root. Right? And that's basically the notes of a major scale, which consist of all major and perfect. Root, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major 6, and then a whole step up from there on the same string, major 7. Your half step brings you back to the root. But anyway, you can just think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So if I went from here to here, I have a movement of a major second. If I want this more Phrygian or a darker sound, I could make that a half step movement. Right, we're just trying to learn some of these movements that sound cool to us or that make sense for the sound that we're trying to create in that moment or the emotion that you want the song to portray, right? So, but anyway, with your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, right? Then we just know that if this is a 2, if we go a half step down, that's going to make it a flat 2 or a minor 2. If this is the 3, 1, 2, 3, we go a half step down, that's going to be a minor third. Here's our perfect 4, and then here's our 5. Right in the middle of that is that diminish. If we want that super dark sound, we can get that right there. Right? And then here's our 5 and 6. So right between that is the minor 6. So like a cool kind of just a classic rock minor sound could be a movement from a 1 to a flat 3. Remember, this would be that two whole steps up from there would be that major third. We're going a half step behind it to make it minor. Right? Instead of this, we got. And then going from a 4, which would be right below the 1. So we got 1 flat 3, 4. And then if we go a step and a half up from there, we got our minor 6. Remember the perfect 5th is right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going half step up from there for that minor 6. So 1 flat 3, 4 flat 6. I threw that 5 in at the end. It really wants to resolve to that 1, so we were at that flat 6. 5. Okay, but like I said, you don't have to know any of this. Just experiment making different movements on the neck of the guitar with these power chords. Are very versatile, right? And you can get a lot of cool sounds just using your ear. And it just can be helpful if you can start to remember If this is the one, then that chord I went to was the 5, and I really liked that sound. That could be helpful. So then you could use that again in the future, but it's not mandatory for you to be able to start out. You don't have to know all of that stuff with the intervals and stuff. You're just focusing on the sounds in these very versatile power chords that are easy to play, easy to move around once you get used to them, and sound great. I mean, there's what 1,552 kajillion songs with power chords, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So you've got these different intervals that you're quickly jumping to in order to find different sounds without having to go through a bunch of trial and error. If you kind of know where they are, you can save yourself a lot of time by going right to that sound because it's always in the same spot.
Right. Yeah, that's the helpful part of it. But it does. You don't want it to be a limiter. I mean, if something comes to you, if you're just jamming out and you make something up and you didn't really know what you were doing, you could figure it out later if you really wanted to. Okay, but you don't have to. Right. We just want people to get started playing and have fun creating some of their own music. And there's a lot you can do with these power chords and just focusing on different cool movements with those power chords.
Yeah, exactly. So if you got a few more examples following the same line of thought, different progressions.
Yeah, well, if we could do kind of like an ACDC vibe where you got the one, the 4, and then that'll go to the flat 7. Okay, we could play that way up here. Remember earlier I was doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I said if you went another whole step up, you would have that 7. That's the major 7. So right behind that is that minor 7, right? So instead of putting it up here, I could put that. That's a whole step behind, right? So here's the root. A half step back's the major 7, and then a whole step back is that minor 7. So 1, 4, and then that 7. Okay, now they do that in open position, but anyway, there's your 1, 4, 7. Now it sounds great. That 1, that 3, that 7 to that 4. That sounds cool too. So yeah, there's very cool stuff,
So
man.
there
I
you
mean,
were
one
playing. There, I think you were playing 1, flat 3, flat 7, and 4.
flat flat 7/4, yeah, flat 7/4. Yeah, you can put it down here if you want to. Oh, sorry. And it sounds pretty cool that way, And you can, of course, once you figure out um, what the chord is, if you want to put it in a different place on the neck of the guitar, you can go ahead and do that too. So I took that flat 7 from up here and threw down there to give it a little darker tonality. So that's pretty cool. Like a 1, 5, 4 to a flat 3 is cool. has a little bit of a more powerful flavor to it, I would say, and stuff, and kind of sticking to a lot of stuff that has some minor intervals because that's more rock and metal. You know, like I'm a big fan of the diminished or augmented four.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's cool.
Okay. Maybe you got a couple more examples. You just say one.
Yes.
What do you do? 1, 5, 4.
That 1 to that 5 to the 4 to the 4 right to the flat 3. Of course, if you want like this kind of just nasty attitude kind of thing, we could do a flat 2, right? 1 and flat 2. Just kind of grinds out and stuff. And that can sound really cool, just moving it up or down a whole step up the neck, Right? It sounds cool. That's kind of like descending into, the dungeons or whatever, or you could bring it the other way, right? What I was doing there, by the way, was just doing the same movement, that 1, 2 movement, moving that whole same movement down to a whole step, 2 frets, right? But if we want to go that other way, right, and kind of raise the excitement, we just go up the neck. Kind of has some more tension building that way, right?
One of the things that might help keep with the audio a little bit is that when you play, Restream is starting to do noise cancellation, so it
Oh,
sounds
was it?
like yeah, it's a limitation of Restream. It's not like Zoom where you can turn on original sound for musicians and it becomes clear. So the first maybe 4 or 5 seconds are fine, and then after that, the guitar kind of gets
Yeah.
quieter and quieter. So if you just keep the examples a little shorter, or take a break, take a rest, and then start again. That'll help keep it, where you can hear a little better.
Right.
Cool. So
Gotcha.
so that's one set of ideas. You got another one. The second.
Yeah. So what I wanted to focus on with my other idea is just kind of, instead of focusing on writing a whole song right now, so that can be I think that's like one of the things that kind of stops people, is that there's like endless possibilities, or all these different things that you could focus on. And sometimes just boiling the focus down to something just as simple as the rhythm, right? I think that can be very helpful for people, especially when you're first starting to get creative with your guitar playing and stuff. So one way that we could do this is focusing on kind of like rhythmic hooks. Okay, so what this would be is some different ways to accent what you're playing. So we can think of it in those terms. So if we had just straight eighth notes. It'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right. And that's can be, you know, pretty boring. Like, oh, I'm just gonna play some eighth notes, right? But if we start to divide those up, those eighth notes in different ways, right, and place the accents in different places. So, and by accents, if anybody's wondering what I'm talking about, like where you're kind of featuring the parts of the beat. You know, you got eighth notes. Instead of playing every single one of them with the same chord or the same articulation, right? Or a drummer might accent this in the beats in different ways with the kick drum or the snare, or they might accent with a crash cymbal or the way that they're playing the hi-hats, something like this. And then we can change the feel of this beat, right? One of my, well, we'll start out with like an even one, right? So we got eight eighth notes in a measure of 4/4. So if we just put the accents in a grouping of 4, 2, and then 2. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So instead of just boring 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right. Instead of this, we could count it or feel it or accent it in these groups. So something more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, did that cut out? Did I go too long?
Yeah, it cut out a little bit at the end. We got the main rhythm 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2. I also wrote it in the chat, but the first time we played it through it, it went fine. Fine.
Cool.
Yeah, it doesn't cut
Cool.
out
So
completely. It just gets quieter.
gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. So now that instantly, even though I was basically playing the same thing, you know, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and I mean, even uh uh you know, a straight eighth over a measure of 4/4. I mean, you at least want to accent the one, right? And that's going to make it more interesting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, right? But this accent of 4 and 2 and 2 is a little more creative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, accents besides just articulating it heavier. You could tie a chord to that if you wanted to, and that could be very cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right, that could be a very cool thing to do. And of course, another way, doing more even accents, just 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. It's a little aggressive, right? So there, I'm just every other one. I think that's like really in your face, right? That's a pretty cool even accent. Because of course, you could mix this up and focus on doing some odder, more odd, odder. I don't know if that's a word. More odd accenting, right? So something like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, right? So this is cool because then you get a little syncopation. It's putting some of the hits off of the beat, like so. 1 2 3 would be 1 and 2, right? If we were counting it as eighth notes. So that means the next accent point is going to come in on the upbeat of beat 2. That next 1, 2, 3 is going to come there, and this creates, a little more interest. Not that the even ones are cool, but this is different feel, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I think that's a very cool one that you can do.
Yeah, and just to clarify for everybody, I mean, so far what Jeff is playing is all Jeff. I'm going to make you small for a moment here. Hold on 1 second. Okay, what Jeff has just described, he played 8/8 notes, okay, all the way across, and then these accent marks below are the different groupings that he did. So the first one, the top row, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's where the accents fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then the second one was this middle line, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then the one he just did was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So these accents are just showing the different ways that he took the straight eighth notes and just put accents in different spots. And it has a totally different feel, even though they're all just eighth notes. There's no 16ths, there's no quarter notes, there's no rests, there's nothing. He's just moving where the accents are. And there's all kinds of cool combinations that one could do to make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can even place that, make it a longer rhythm if you wanted to, and take something like that and place it, sorry, place it over a couple measures, right? So you could do 4 sets of 3 and 1 set of 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And that's can be very cool. And that could be a very cool thing to do. Start with a rhythm, basically. Start with a rhythm, create a very cool rhythm, and then you can start basing some chords or notes. If you just want to do like a single note thing or something like that, you can start basing those around the cool rhythm that you created. And that chart that you had there, Tom, has is awesome. That would be a very good way to practice this. Yeah, much better, cleaner than if I wrote it out. But you could simply just put the visual there, and then say, "Oh, I wonder what it would sound like if I did 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3," or what if I did a 3 and then 2 2s and a 1. You just divide that measure up however you want, and you can also, if you want to do something with some more speed, start doing that over 16th notes, and then you have more room within a measure, at least, for different places and things that you could do some different accents with.
Yeah, something else that you can do with all of this, if for those of you watching, if what Jeff is playing is too heavy for the style of music that you like, if you're thinking, oh, he's playing that heavy metal stuff again, there goes Uncle Jeff playing the old heavy metal. If you don't, if you don't like the heaviness, some of you do, some of you don't, but you kind of are intrigued by the rhythms, you can take all of the additional eighth note chugs out and just simply play on the accents and maybe change chords here. So if we take the one that Jeff just did, you might just play this note, let it ring out to here without playing those eighth notes. Okay. So I'm going to make myself a little bigger again, Jeff. Let's see. Stand by. Okay. You could just play the accents and just hold this out. So that would be a dotted quarter. That would be a dotted quarter. and that would be a quarter. So you might have 3 different chords here. You're not playing the eighth notes in between. You're just playing a chord, holding it out, then maybe changing to another chord, holding that out, and then playing the next chord. So you still have the 3+3+2 rhythm. That's what this bottom blade one is here, but you don't have this driving hard rock, heavy metal feel if you don't want that. So if you play softer rock, or you could use this in jazz, for example, or whatever, pop music, it doesn't really matter. Even folk music, you can do the same thing. Be a little awkward there, but you could. It's not style specific. So the examples that Jeff is going through kind of sound, like harder rock. Nothing wrong with that, but these concepts go through any style. Doesn't matter what the style is. These are not, you know, metal specific rhythms at all. I mean, they've been around for hundreds of years. So
Yeah, yeah, good point, right? And yeah, and just like you said, that's exactly what you can do with it. These are just the accent points, right? Different ways you can accent it. In it, yes, it's over eighth notes, but yeah, you don't have to play eighth notes the entire time, and you could even mix it up a little bit, but yeah, not, I mean, another metal kind of a reference or whatever, but Am I Evil kind of does like a 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 rhythm in that song. And the last two chords, they're not chugging them like I was doing. They were just letting them ring out, 1 2 3 1 2, those the last two chords of that rhythm. But the other thing, you could go and find rhythms from bands that you dig, that if you're like, oh, I really dig how the chords are changing, the way that these chords are changing and stuff. And this is a way that you can figure that out, of breaking it down into eighth notes and then say, oh, okay, yeah, just like I did with that Am I Evil thing, to find out, okay, where are these accent points? And they're also marking the accent points with chord changes too, right? Which is very cool to do. And yeah, you could just totally be letting a chord just ring out. 1 2 3. Oh, sorry. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. Right? Whatever. It doesn't have to be metal, right? So yeah,
what if
very cool.
we took some of the eighth notes out and inserted rests somewhere,
Right. That could be
or
another.
just tie the or tie.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. That could be another very cool way to do it. Um, you could even, if you want to get away from just thinking of the whole accenting thing, you just think of eighth notes. We got those eighth notes there, and what if on the uh, beat two, that's just going to be a rest, right? And instead of playing through that, I'm just going to rest on that, right? So it'd be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? You could do something like that, where you're resting. I came in on the and I messed that up a couple times, but we're putting a rest. It's kind of like an unexpected rest. Really, a super unexpected rest would be kind of on beat one, right? But or beat three, which is kind of like the second strongest beat. If you're doing like a 1 and 2 and rest, 4 and 1 and 2 and rest, 4 and. But now we got a cool rhythm right there, something hooky, something more memorable than just straight through doing straight eighth notes or straight triplets or something like that, right? We got something more hooky right there. And all we did was say, oh, I'm just not going to play on beat three. Okay. Now, if we were playing some chords or something, we could just let it ring out over beat 3 if we wanted. But I do like the rest idea, um, because it does add some more punch and a little more unexpectedness, right? And creates um, even more of a recognizable kind of hook. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Because anytime that you're playing, anytime you're not playing, especially if you're not playing on a beat, you've got syncopation because you're playing off the beat. So that adds tension, adds interest. Absolutely. You hear it all the time in a lot of styles.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
All right. You got another
So,
one for us?
yeah. Another idea, back to the power chords, right? Uh, we can do lots of cool things with power chords and some open strings, right? And you get this very cool sounds, kind of ambiguous in a way. It's unrested and stuff like that, but it's a very cool sound, especially if you want to do like a sneaky little intro or something. So right here, I'm just doing a B power chord, second fret on the A string, fourth fret on the D string, and then I'm just going to let these open strings ring out. I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit. Right, and move these around in different positions, get very cool sounds. So if I just go a half step up to the C from that B, it's very cool. And these all over the neck sound cool. It's just explore. Don't worry about any keys or whatever. Just take your power chords, move them around, have some fun. If I go way up here to 12 and just do this open string here. Very cool sound, even up the neck with those open strings as well. And that can be a lot of fun. And if you want to kind of level it up some more, what you could do, which would sound much easier to do if it's just your guitar. So this could be great for like an intro or something like that. Is kind of give it a little bit of a rubato flavor. And that's basically just kind of like where you're being free with the tempo, with the timing of it and stuff. So you're not sticking to a strict right? It might be speeding up a little bit, slowing down a little bit, and you just have fun, kind of do it freely as you feel.
Yeah, it's definitely more interesting when you play around with the rhythm and add, rubato or whatever.
Yeah. It's a very cool feeling, and you can just go based on your feelings and stuff. It can be harder to do that with other people unless you're gonna like pre-plan this out and they know exactly how it's gonna go and you work out all the parts. Much easier to do by yourself, one instrument, right?
Yeah.
To do it that way, but definitely it's makes for fun practicing, for fun if you're just sitting there doing, can sound cool just on a single chord, right?
Yeah.
You can have a lot of fun working on your rubato. And of course, you could also tie that in with, it doesn't necessarily have to be at the same time, but with the dynamics of what you're doing. So picking it louder to softer, somewhere in between.
Awesome.
So it could be very cool to do that too, right?
Yeah, the rubato plus the dynamics, it adds a lot. You don't have to play very sophisticated chords or anything to get a really cool sound there. So awesome stuff. Thanks for all the tips and suggestions here, Jeff. That was really good stuff. I have something available for you guys to download for free. You can check it out here. This is totally free. It's called Fretboard Freedom Blueprint. And what this is designed to do is to help you learn where everything is on the guitar neck in a much easier, much faster way. So you're not struggling looking around for where are the notes, where are the scales, where do I go next? You have a better command of the fretboard and knowing where everything is. So this is a free download. You can get it right now. There's no strings attached. And you can check this out, and that will definitely help. All right. Very good. Thank you, Jeff, for everything, all the tips here. Thanks for everyone who joined us here live. Take care, and we'll see you guys next time.